You see, when you talk about Indian issues are not new issues. Indians has been in the country for the past 200 over years. A lot of people talk about Tamil schools, Tamil schools, Tamil schools. But the first Tamil school was set up in the state of Penang in the year 1887, 1889. And then second was in Malacca. The Tamil school set up in Penang was basically by the Christian missionaries. Likewise, in Malacca was by the Indian Muslim traders who came from India. That's how the Tamil school started. And at present, there is 523 Tamil school. The figure is not being denied. And these issues of the Tamil schools was there, not in the past 2 years. The problem faced by the Tamil school, the problem faced by the Indian community has been there for the past 100 years. But we are not saying that the Barisan government has done nothing. Likewise, some people say the Pakatan has done nothing. That kind of argument, I will not accept, or a reasonable man will never accept that kind of argument. The Barisan national government has done something to the Indian community. If not, the Indian community would not be here. They will be still in the estate workers and etc. etc. They have done something. But the policies were not much beneficial to the Indian community. That is where we wanted deregulation policies. The government is pretty well, when they came in 1970s, introducing the new economic policies. The intention of the government is to narrow the economic differences among the community. But did the government achieve in doing that among all the communities? The government sees the Indians as non-Malays. When you see Indians as non-Malays, they also come in par with the Chinese, and they come in par with the foreign investors. Is that reasonable for the government to do? When the government is isolated one particular race and say that economically we should ensure that they progress, well, we are for it. We want to see our Malay brothers progressing. We are for it. We are not stopping that. But what we don't want to see is Amno Putras progressing. Now, the Malays themselves accept the fact that it's not only the Bhumiputras, but it's Amno Bhumiputras who are actually benefiting. That is the reason when you see the 308 election, it is not only the mindset, political mindset change was with the Indians, but it went overall, across the board, even with the Chinese, even with the Malay. Though INDRAF may be a starting point in it, but the mindset, political change, tsunami change was not only, if it's only with the Indian mindset, then we wouldn't have seen the 4 states falling to Pakatan. See, as far as Perak is concerned, rather than talking about other states, I'll just focus at Perak because I was the EXCO member there under Pakatan Raya. Within the 10 months, we approved land for 13 temples within the 10 months. And we also approved land for the Greek Tamil school, 2 acres of land. Actually, the land belongs to a Chinaman. But he wanted to develop in front of the Tamil school. I told that it cannot happen. We found another alternate piece of land for that Chinese gentleman, and we took the land, gave it to the school without even making an application. The other was in the case of Gunung Rapat Tamil school, same, but that school belongs to the federal government. It's a federal government allocation because 65% of the schools among the 135 schools in Perak comes under Bantuan model because they're located in private land. And this issue of Bantuan model is there for the past 50 years. Why can't the government convert all the schools to Bantuan Penuh? They are located in the estates. So who is responsible in acquiring the land? Under the Land Acquisition Act, Section 4, the federal government can acquire the land and convert it overnight. There are some people who say just by a stroke of his pen, signature, the whole thing. But that is rubbish. The person who says that knows that is rubbish. How can we do that when education comes under the federal government, not the state government? A typical example is Pangko Tamil School. The Pangko Tamil School was built in 1953 and the land was given by a well-wisher, an Indian well-wisher gave the land. That is where the Pangko temple is also situated. I went and visited. It's a beautiful school and the children there in the year 2008 scored 85% passing rate in the UPSR. Okay, I saw the school. I called the land officer, brought it to the EXCO. Dr. Sri Nizar said, immediately go and locate the land, and the EXCO will not hesitate to pass it immediately. As far as EXCO education, it is done. I went and got the Manjong land office to locate the land and everything. That application should have been done. Now, whose territory is Pangko? Is none other than Dato Sri Zambri. The state assemblyman, Dato Sri Zambri. In the year 2008, November, Dato Sri Zambri himself met me at the state assembly and told, YB, do something for the Panko Tamil school. They are running short of land. But now he is the Menteri Besar. It's already 1 year plus. What has Zambri done to get land for Panko, only one Panko Tamil school? There is a crematorium in Panko, only crematorium, which was there. People have been using, the Hindus have been using that since 1936. And until today, they have not applied. Applied for the land. It comes under forest reserve. And I made a trip there, and I also told them to apply for it. But now it's Barisan rule. If you are blaming us, Perak, in particular Perak, if you are blaming us for doing nothing, then what has the Barisan done all this while? And what has the Barisan done in the last 1 year plus after grabbing the power from us? So Indian issues, I won't say it is very complicated issues, but if at all agencies are set to look into the issues, of course we do agree that we cannot overcome. There are 1,200 Hindu temples in Perak, 135 Tamil schools in Perak. The issues in the Indian community is not just temple and school. Their economic status. You see, the employment of the Indians in the civil sector, more or less our Chinese brothers and sisters has agreed that, civil sectors don't pay them well, so they're not much concerned. But Indians are still adamant to work in the civil sector. If that is so, Perak, the population, the voters of Perak, 51% Bhumiputras and 49% non-Bhumiputras, in which case 13% of the Perak voters are Indians, 33% are Chinese, 3% are Orang Aslis and others. So if that is the pattern, what is the ratio of employment of non-Malays in the civil sector in Perak state? It is hardly 5%. Well, to overcome that, I was the first person to prepare a working paper to restructure civil service in Perak to reflect the ratio of the respective community. We are not going to take away the job which was given to our Malay brothers and sisters. Well, it is given to them. But future intake, it should be increased. MIC comes with the argument saying that across the board 7%, which I don't agree. If you say across the board 7% of employees in the public sector should be Indians, then do you have 7% population in Kelantan, in Sabah, in Sarawak, in Terengganu? We don't have. So what we are saying, it should reflect the ratio of the community of that respective state. So Perak, 13% of the Indian voters are Indians. So you should allocate 13% of the job to the Indians. In Selangor, 14% of the population voters are Indians. So you must allocate 14% to the Indians. However, in Kelantan, even they allocate 0.1%, we are happy with it. See, this is how the system should work. And if you say 7%, have you achieved 7%? Now, what is the reason for the drop of the Indians in the civil sector, while 30 years ago, almost 8% to 10% of the civil sector employees were Indians? We also want to serve the government. Give us an opportunity to serve the government. Don't come and tell us that we are not faithful to the government when you don't give us the opportunity. So in Perak, we almost did it. If not for the fall of the state, we did it. And now, after Barisan National having taken over, to the dismay, there is no single Indian rep in the exco, because none of the MIC candidate won. There is only one Chinese in the exco who controls half a dozen portfolios. Dr. Mahan San, non-Muslim affairs, he is the person in charge. And you must understand, 2.5 million voters, just voters I'm talking, 2.5 million, 49% are non-Muslims. How is he going to control? He is in charge of the local council. Even revamping the local council was done by Pakatan Rakyat. We were the one who came out with a 30% quota for the NGOs. And that is the policy which is being used by Barisan Nasional today. So what they did not do or failed to do for the past 50 years, we did it within the 10 months. And we approved freehold title to the 63,000 new villages, settlers of new villages, and also the Kampung Tersusun, basic Kampung Tersusun, basically Malays, 100% Malays. These were 100% non-Malays. And there is a party which claims that we have not given land to the Indians in Perak, which is utter rubbish. Because out of the 63,000 settlers in the new villages today, 5% of them are Indians. So they too benefited out of this program. But however, when Barisan Nasional came back, they stopped the whole program.